रब्बी यस्सिर वला तुअस्सिर व तम्मिम बिल खैर व बिक नस्तईन। रब्बी ज़िदनी इल्मा या फ़त्ताह या फ़त्ताह या फ़त्ताह। Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to everyone. In the previous video, we spoke about how the inner voice of helping people forms the fundamental connection between the 7 billion people in the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in several places of the Quran the importance of charity and helping. When a person feels the inner voice of helping another, Quran beautifully builds this connection and gives the right kind of guidance on how to spend, how much to spend, etiquettes of spending, and what is the reward of charity. As Muslims, it is just not enough for us to spend on the poor, but it is extremely important for each one of us to understand what is the etiquettes of spending, and this is important for us to get the maximum reward. In this video, I will talk about the etiquettes of spending or charity in Islam. There are some basic rules, and I will kind of go through some important rules. The first rule of any form of charity is that it should be only and only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and no one else, which means that charity should be free of any kind of show off or boasting. The person who is giving charity should not expect anything in return, not even a word of thank you. In Surah Baqarah, in verse 263, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that a decent word and forgiveness is better than charity given followed by painful words, which means that we need to show utmost respect when we are helping another person. There are instances when a person expects another person whom they are helping to tell thank you a million times, or they expect people to send them congratulatory messages or just a check on Facebook or Twitter when they actually give charity and upload their photos, so that they actually feel good when they are praised of their generosity. The moment you start expecting anything, even a simple word of thank you, that charity becomes a transaction between two people in this world and has no value in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second, charity must not be followed by references or reminder of the act of charity which was given earlier. Many a times when we have broken ties between the family or fights between two family members, there is a tendency of one to remind another family member of a previous act of charity or a favor done on them. This is by no means a charity that will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Third, in Surah Al Imran, Allah Ta'ala mentions, by no means shall you attain righteousness until you give of what you love. Now, at times we are guilty of giving our old torn clothes, dirty shoes, broken utensils, and we feel great that we have done charity. But please remember, by giving your torn and broken items away, you are just insulting the fundamental dignity of another human being. Fourth, protect the dignity of needy people. And this is a very important concept that we all should be aware of. What is this concept all about? Reactive charity is when someone comes to you, extends your hand, and you help them. Whereas proactive charity is when you find out about the needs of the people and help the person even before they extend their hands for help. Just imagine a genuine relative who does not have food to feed their family. The person has to kill his dignity and ego and ask for help. Instead, if someone proactively finds out about the situation of this person and helps this person protect their dignity and gives them the charity and the food that they deserve, this is loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fourth, spend and help the poor when you are young and healthy. There is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which says that the best form of charity is when you give charity when you're healthy. When you feel stingy and in spite of that you give charity. You still have a long life to live and you know you can save, but in spite of that you still give charity. And finally, you fear poverty, but in spite of that you give charity. This is a beautiful hadith and this is the best form of charity. Now, talking a little bit about the two forms of charity in Islam, there is an obligatory charity that we all know, which is called zakat, and there is another form of voluntary charity called sadaqah. Zakat is compulsory annual contribution of 2.5% of one's income, whereas sadaqah is a voluntary act of worship, a choice made of one's own free will. Sadaqah is a very wide term used in the Quran to cover all kinds of charity. A smile to another person is sadaqah. Planting a tree, feeding animals, good conduct, helping orphans, all of this is called sadaqah. Sadaqah has great reward. It wards off affliction in this world, questioning of the grave, and punishment on Judgment Day. It is therefore recommended to give sadaqah by night and day, in secret and in public, to seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. Finally, I will end by saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of any need and does not need our charity, which basically means that if there is an opportunity created for us to give charity and help people, then that is a test for us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is important that we grab the opportunity and we give sadaqah or zakat or any form of charity and earn the reward. Because if you don't grab this opportunity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will surely give it to somebody else and test them. Thank you so much for watching this video. Jazakallahu khair.